Oh, man, come on, get it. Hurry. Oh, damn, what is this? What is going on? Just go back. Yeah, that's more like it. This is the Short Sports Show with your host, Daniel Short. Oh, really? That's what I'm going to get? Welcome to the Short Sports Show. I am your host, Daniel Short. Today is August 24th, 2016, and it is a cloudy day here in San Marcos, Texas, but it is not a cloudy day for me. It's my birthday. I'm excited. I've hit the big 2-0. Congratulations. Woo! I'm going to insert a applause there. No, but it's awesome. Last week we had the Short Sports Show's birthday, the 3-year anniversary of the Short Sports Show, and now this week, my birthday. So thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for checking out the show. We got a lot to talk about. AP Top 25 came out earlier this week. We're going to talk about that. Got a little bit of some opinions on where some teams have been ranked. Also, Notre Dame suspensions over the weekend. Several Notre Dame football players were in trouble. Some even kicked off the team. And also in the NFL world, we have a Pittsburgh Steelers player representative who is now telling his players that, hey, you guys need to save up for the potential 2021 lockout because it's going to happen. We're going to talk about that here on the show. Again, thank you guys so much for joining. It is game week as well. This whole week has been exciting. Past few weeks have been awesome. It's game week. I am an intern coach at the San Marcos High School, and it's game week. I'm excited. Tomorrow we have freshman game. I'm the freshman defensive backs coach, and then Friday's varsity game 1. So I'm excited about that. But as always, I really want to start off the show by thanking our sponsor, InnerGrind. He is Michael Orakpo. He has InnerGrind, his company. Guys, check him out. If you're not in the Houston, Texas area, it's fine. It's okay. He's got a nutrition and a workout plan just for you to either lose weight, gain muscle. He has several clients. Go like his page on Facebook. He has multiple clients that are doing very well and have lost several pounds each week and are gaining muscle each week. So go ahead and check out InnerGrind as well. We only have 4 days left. 4 days left to go buy a Short Sports Show t-shirt, #Purple Rain Special Edition. You can go get that right now on Teespring. Links are in the description down below. And go ahead and check those out real quick. What's up? I've got some amazing news. You can now buy the Short Sports Show apparel on Teespring. That's right. I have 2 different designs up already, and they're amazing, and I love them, and I know you guys will love them too. Hurry now, as these shirts are only up for a certain number of days, and then they're gone. My goal is to sell at least 50 of each design, and the more they sell, the longer they're available. So help me make that happen. Teespring is a platform that makes it easy for anyone to create and sell high-quality products that people love with no cost or risk. So go to www.teespring.com/stores/The Short Sports Show today, and after you make your purchase, tweet the show for a chance to be on the following week's show with me. Now, back to the show. Today's show is sponsored by InnerGrind. Based out of Houston, Texas, let former Texas State linebacker Michael Orakpo help you reach your fitness and nutrition goals. With personal training classes that start at $40 a session, why not be a part of this rising program? Now, whether your goals are to lose weight, gain muscle mass, find the right off-season program, or even for you ladies out there to get that booty blast, you can do it all with InnerGrind. Not in the Houston area, not a problem. InnerGrind has a program that is personalized just for you. InnerGrind has everything you need to meet your personal and healthy goals. NFL linebackers like Titans Brian Orakpo, Chiefs Derek Johnson, Buccaneers running back Charles Sims, and San Diego Chargers cornerback Craig Mager, along with many other young athletes, have already begun. Find your personalized workout and nutrition plan at InnerGrind.com and call 832-475-2829. That's InnerGrind.com, 832-475-2829. Unleash your inner grind. Now, as always, we start with college football news first. And again, this past week, we had the AP Top 25 poll that was released. And of course, I think we all knew who the top 2 teams were going to be. It was going to be Alabama and it was going to be Clemson. It just depends which one was going to be ranked first. And just like many polls, Alabama was picked the number 1 team by the Associated Press in their preseason top 25. Now, this is the official poll. We will enter the season with some games starting actually in 2 days. We have one in Australia, Cal and Hawaii, if you want to count that. Or we got 3 days from now as the first game. So, again, Alabama being number 1. I think we can all agree in some sort of way it's Alabama-Clemson. It's kind of 1A, 1B. Clemson returning a lot of guys on offense. It's going to be very explosive. Headlined, of course, by Deshaun Watson, who is my preseason Heisman winner. And then you have Alabama, who it doesn't matter who's at quarterback. It seems like they're losing a quarterback. They push out another one, and they end up winning the national championship. That's what happened this past season. Obviously, they're going to have to replace Derrick Henry. Off on the defensive side, you have All-Americans Reggie Ragland, Ashawn Robinson. It's a lot of guys you're going to have to replace, but they got some guys to step in. Offensively, Calvin Ridley should be pretty solid. Linebackers, you got Reuben Foster and Tim Williams. Should be able to do enough to get Alabama back up there. Obviously replacing Derrick Henry as well. Clemson, Deshaun Watson. So 1-2, we're good. We're good. We're fine with. It's probably going to switch every now and then. Just one doesn't score enough points, one gives up too many points, and we're going to switch back and forth. Then here goes 3 through 7, what you're seeing on your screen already, the top 10 if you're watching on YouTube, which if you're not watching on YouTube, go check it out, youtube.com/The Short Sports Show. Go subscribe. Number 3 is Oklahoma. Not bad. Baker Mayfield, that offense, replacing some guys, majority players still being there. Okay, I can agree. This is where I get the issue. Number 4 is Florida State. I get it. 10 starters returning on offense. Dalvin Cook, one of the top running backs in college football. Cool. Defensively, there's some guys that are getting a good amount of hype. That, yes, last season they did pretty solid, but is Florida State really a team that we should look at as a top 4 team? Even a top 5 team? I don't think so. I don't think so just yet. Obviously, this is the same Florida State team that also got beat by Houston, who Houston ended up, 15? How does that work? At number 5, LSU. For a team that can't pass the ball, it's pretty high. Leonard Fournette, obviously another guy who's going to be up there in the Heisman talk and one of the best college football players all around this season. Number 6 is Ohio State. That's a team that's losing a lot, yet ranked pretty high. Kind of have an issue with Ohio State right there. Number 7 is Michigan. I'm okay with Michigan. I did a little poll on Twitter, which you can follow me at Short Sports Show, and I said who's too high? Who's giving too much praise right now? Florida State, LSU, Michigan, or Tennessee. Michigan got voted the most, which was kind of shocking. I don't know if that was just haters or what it was, but I think Michigan's in a good spot. I know they got to replace a quarterback as well, but the running game, the offensive line has gotten much, much better, and the defense should be enough to keep them in a lot of the games, favorable in a lot of games. So at 7, I'm okay with. Maybe not higher than 7. I think 7's all right. After that, you have Stanford at number 8, Tennessee at 9, and then Notre Dame at 10. Tennessee, I still had the problem with, and I got hate on it. I got a lot of hate from people watching the show saying that I don't know anything about Tennessee. I just know it's a team that can't finish a game. That's what I know. And I don't think they deserve to be number in the top 10. But, again, it's preseason poll. By the end of the season, half of these teams might not even be there. So we'll have to see. I got a little bit of issue. The rest of the top 25 is okay. I think it's all going to get sorted out. And, the bottom 25 doesn't really matter because half of those teams will go 8-4 or something like that and not even finish in there. Houston is a team that I think probably should have been up there 11 or 12, given a little bit more credit to. I know that defensively they've lost a lot going into this season, so I understand a little bit lower. UW Huskies. Now, I rep UW. but 14. If I'm going to talk smack about Tennessee, I got to make sure that I'm backing up all the way around. And University of Washington, Myles Gaskin's going to be really good. Quarterback who slipped his name slipped in my head right now. He's going to be pretty solid. And the defense was the best in the Pac-12 and should be, again, the best in the Pac-12. 14 is pretty high as well. TCU, my TCU Frogs, though, 13. I'm loving it. We're getting some more respect now because obviously we're replacing the best quarterback and the best wide receiver that's ever played at TCU, and replacing a good running back. Defensively, we should be fine again. Offensively, I think we're going to be right there. As long as Kenny Hill does his job, he should be right there. So I want to know, what is your opinion on the top 10 right now? Or do you see Florida State being a top 5 team? Do you see LSU being a top 5 team? Is Tennessee, Ohio State, and Michigan, do they deserve to be in the top 10? I think Notre Dame deserves to be there. Stanford as well, even though they got a quarterback situation going on there. I think Christian McCaffrey, who just does about everything, is going to help that team get up there. Let me know in the comment section down below, and as well as tweet me at Short Sports Show. Now, Michigan State head coach Mark D'Antonio said Monday that Tyler O'Connor will start the season opener at quarterback. O'Connor played in 4 games last season for the Spartans and threw for about 133 yards and 2 touchdowns. And obviously, his most notable start was the team's upset win against Ohio State in Columbus last season when Connor Cook was hurt. He went up there and obviously got the big victory, which ruined Ohio State's season to go into the playoffs for a back-to-back season. And now Michigan State, they open up the season September 2nd against Furman. So at least he's got a good, an easy way in, because Furman is not going to boast, a good defense. So that helps him in. Notre Dame, over the weekend, a lot of players got in trouble over the weekend. Lots of players in college football. Yeah, Texas A&M linebacker, he was arrested. And then Notre Dame said, you know what, we're going to top everybody. We're going to have about 6 players straight up arrested and charged with something. And Brian Kelly, he did a good job. He did a good job. I haven't seen some heavy criticism on him. What he did, I think he did the right thing. I don't think anybody can really complain about what he did. And this is what happened. He dismissed senior safety Max Redfield from the football team and suspended senior quarterback Devin Butler indefinitely on Sunday following a weekend that saw 6 Fighting Irish players arrested over 2 separate incidents in the same night. Kelly also said that sophomore linebacker Tevon Coney, freshman receiver Kevin Stefferson, sophomore cornerback Ashton White, and sophomore running back Dexter Williams, those were the 4 other players who were arrested on Friday night. They will be subjected to internal disciplinary measures within the team, which they will not be separated from. Now, Kelly added that the status of the players with the university and the football team can be impacted by the justice system and a university's discipline. And that's kind of what's going to happen with Butler. Now, he was suspended, but that's the least of his worries about being suspended from the team. That's the very least. Because the St. Joseph County prosecutors have formally charged Devin Butler on felony counts of resisting law enforcement and battery against a public safety official. Both charges are level 6 felonies, people. The penalty for a level 6 felony, in case you didn't know, is between 6 months to about 2.5 years in prison if convicted. And he's scheduled to have an arranged at 1 p.m. to be arranged, at 1 p.m. today. So we're going to find out more this afternoon. Now for the other players, for Redfield, Conley, Stefferson, White, and Williams, who were arrested on Friday night, they were arrested because police stopped them for speeding. Then they were charged with possession of marijuana, which is a misdemeanor. And Redfield, Stefferson, and Williams were also charged with the possession of a handgun without a license, which is also a misdemeanor. Now I want to bring this back. Now, just a couple months ago, the University of Alabama had 2 players, Hootie Jones, their backup safety, and a guy named Cam Robinson,
the top offensive tackle, one of the highest rated offensive tackles that to be projected in the NFL draft for the 2017. Sounds pretty similar to what happened, right? They had possession of marijuana. Okay, yes, check for both. And then there was a possession of a handgun without a license under the seat. Check. Now, we go back to the University of Alabama, what Nick Saban did. Oh, it was an internal disciplinary action happened to him. Maybe that was a little bit more conditioning at practice, right? A little bit more tougher workouts. But not suspended from a game. Nothing bad. Yet, Brian Kelly at Notre Dame says, oh, okay, this is what y'all want to do? Well, Redfield, you're kicked off from the team. Other players, you guys are all suspended, and we'll see what happens from there. I don't know. I just like to know at Alabama why it kind of just slipped through the crack. Why it just, oh, you're big Alabama star. Nah, not going to happen. You're fine. Just move on. Don't do it again. Slap on the wrist. Let's get over with. Now I get it. We don't know all the personal details inside of what happened. We don't know everything. But what we do know is that both were charged with possession of marijuana. Both were charged with possession of a handgun without a license. Both misdemeanors. And at the University of Alabama, they dropped the charges and let them go. And Notre Dame, they're like, no, you're stuck with it. So I applaud Notre Dame for handling the situation and setting an example. And we'll get to what Brian Kelly said, his quote. But at Alabama, you're the big dog. Shouldn't you be the one setting the example? That's what I like to know. Now, Brian Kelly said, quote, the expectations we set for the members of our team are high, but they are especially for the upperclassmen who are expected to provide leadership and a positive example for the other members of the team. Max, and at least at this stage in the review of this case, Devin, have failed in that regard and so have lost the privilege of continuing to be a part of our team, end quote. And Notre Dame opens up the season September 4th at the University of Texas. Now, that wasn't the only players that were also in trouble. Like I said, there was multiple players in trouble this weekend. Florida State freshman quarterback Malik Henry, who was up there, trying to compete with Sean McGuire. Well, he was also suspended indefinitely for a violation of team rules, head coach Jimbo Fisher announced on Saturday. The Seminoles have now 2 active scholarship quarterbacks with Henry's suspension, and the injury to redshirt senior Sean McGuire. That's it. McGuire is expected to be out for another 3 weeks after undergoing surgery on Monday to repair a broken bone in his right foot. And redshirt freshman DeAndre Francois, that's it. He's expected to start September 5th against Ole Miss, the game opener, and the season opener, I should say. And if he gets hurt, man, Florida State, that number 4 ranking is sure going down. So McGuire's not supposed to be back for, again, another 3 weeks, but into the season's, week 2, I think? Week 3, he should be ready. If McGuire's not fully healthy, if Francois is not playing really good, I think it was Francois. Malik Henry suspended. Man, congratulations to a number 4 team, right? Ohio State added to its top-ranked recruiting class on Monday by landing ESPN 300 wide receivers Trevon Grimes and Tyjon Lindsey. The commitments give the Buckeyes a total of 16 ESPN 300 commitments, the most in any program in the class of 2017. Alabama has the second most ESPN 300 commits with 13, followed by LSU with 12. But Ohio State now with 16. Unbelievable. And now if this class holds up as it is, which if you follow college football recruiting, you know that verbal commitments mean absolutely nothing. Because it'll all change, and it could definitely change on signing day. It could be a verbal commit for 6+ months, a whole season. And once it's signing day, they could switch to that rival team just like that. Now, but if it holds as it is, and the Buckeyes can land a few more ESPN 300 prospects,
Meyer has a chance to land the most ESPN 300 commitments since joining Ohio State prior to the 2012 season. His 2013 class had 17 commitments ranked in the top 300. He could definitely beat that. The time he's given, we'll see. Redshirt junior Max Brown has been named USC starting quarterback. Head coach Clay Helton announced Saturday. The decision gives Brown 2 weeks to prepare as a starter in a huge game. His first game, welcome to college football, the defending national champion Alabama on September 3rd in Arlington, Texas. Now, it's been long assumed that Brown was going to be the starting quarterback, but Sam Darnold, the redshirt freshman, gave him a pretty good push, a pretty good challenge throughout the offseason. And for people that don't know, Max Brown, he was ranked the number 2 quarterback in the class of 2013. So there's been a lot of hype around him. Obviously, he had Cody Kessler, who's never missed a game during his USC time. So Brown didn't really get a whole lot of time. But when he did, he was 11 of 19, 143 yards, without a touchdown or interception. So we'll just have to see how he plays. And it's going to be a rough game. Like I said, I've already made my little prediction on that. We'll get to, like we always do, our predictions and recaps once the season comes around. But I'm already telling you right now, it's going to be an Alabama-type Michigan game where they were at Cowboy Stadium and thought Denard Robinson could do a good job, maybe even I probably even picked Michigan to win that game. And then Alabama just absolutely destroys them. I have a feeling that might happen to USC this year. It might happen. BYU announced their starting quarterback as well, Taysom Hill. He won the starting quarterback job over Tanner Mangum, which I kind of say is a little bit shocking. Now, Taysom Hill, for you guys that remember, he's a fifth-year senior, but he's also, and he was pretty good. When he was healthy, he was good. He was even a dark horse Heisman contender. But the thing is, it was when he was healthy. He has suffered 3, not 1, not 2, 3 season-ending injuries, appearing in only 1 game last season, only 5 in 2014, and 6 in 2012. In 2013, he appeared in 13 games and completed 53.9% of his passes for 2,938 yards, with 19 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. He also rushed for another 1,300-plus yards. In his career, he has 31 passing touchdowns. Now, Mangum, a lot of people might remember him. He was a guy who just happened to step in back-to-back weeks, he threw game-winning Hail Mary touchdowns. It was against Nebraska. He went in there, tossed the Hail Mary pass, and a week later, does the same thing against Boise State. Now, BYU, they open up this season September 3rd against Arizona, in Glendale, Arizona as well. So it'd be interesting to see Taysom Hill if he's back to his old self, but it's hard to say and hard to believe that you can really get back to yourself after 3 season-ending injuries. I wish him the best. I hope he does. But Tanner Mangum, you already know he's already ready. And he'll just flick another one in the air and get a game-winning touchdown. Last bit of college football news before we move on to the NFL, and that's UCF, University of Central Florida, plans to honor former head coach George O'Leary with a statue on campus. The Orlando Sentinel first reported that a group of private donors came up with the idea to build the statue, and it's set to be presented in 2017 near Bright House Network Stadium. The UCF Athletics Association approved the plan, according to the Sentinel. Quote, George helped our student athletes reach new heights in the classroom and on the field. It's appropriate to recognize those achievements at some point in the future, end quote, UCF spokesman Grant Heston said in a statement. Now, George O'Leary had a pretty weird career as a head coach. He's 70 years old and he retired last October during his 12th season as the head coach for Central Florida. He took the Knights to the Fiesta Bowl and beat Baylor following the 2013 season. I think Blake Bortles, remember that time? Yeah, that was a fun time. And went to 7 bowl games, going 81-68. So you're thinking that's a pretty good, coaching career at UCF. That's good. The thing is, he also went winless twice, not once, but twice in his career. Didn't win a game. In 2004 and just last season, 2015, they didn't win a game. So, and I know Central Florida, it's tough to recruit.
You think, oh, well, you got Florida, you can recruit. Yeah, well, you also have the University of Miami, the U, you have Florida State, you have Florida, even FAU sometimes, Florida International, just had, past couple good years. It's kind of tough for UCF to pull in some guys. But that is good. George O'Leary is a good guy, good coach, and it's good they're going to build a statue to honor him since any success they really had was all because of him. No one really knew about UCF before George O'Leary, so congratulations to him. And we will move on to the NFL news, but first, let's take a quick break. You're listening to the Short Sports Show. Today's show is sponsored by InnerGrind. Based out of Houston, Texas, let former Texas State linebacker Michael Orakpo help you reach your fitness and nutrition goals. With personal training classes that start at $40 a session, why not be a part of this rising program? And whether your goals are to lose weight, gain muscle mass, find the right off-season program, or even for you ladies out there to get that booty blast, you can do it all with InnerGrind. Not a Houston area, not a problem. InnerGrind has a program that is personalized just for you. InnerGrind has everything you need to meet your personal and healthy goals. NFL linebackers like Titans Brian Orakpo, Chiefs Derek Johnson, Buccaneers running back Charles Sims, and San Diego Chargers cornerback Craig Mager, along with many other young athletes, have already begun. Find your personalized workout and nutrition plan at InnerGrind.com and call 832-475-2829. That's InnerGrind.com, 832-475-2829. Unleash your inner grind. I absolutely love this drink. I'm not going to say what it is because I'm not sponsored by them. And I like a sponsorship, another one. That would be really nice. It's a coconut drink, antioxidant coconut drink. So if you guess the company, you know what it is. But no one's gonna get a free shout out on the show without a sponsorship. No, that's kind of lame. But anyways, let's talk about some NFL news. And one of the most interesting stories of the week happens to be this, because it is a very real problem. A lot of people are gonna straight up deny it, but given what happened just a few years ago, there's a real good shot that the National Football League will have another, and this time probably even longer, lockout. And apparently that's what Raymond Foster believes. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers player representative. He's also the offensive lineman. He used the news of Le'Veon Bell's 3-game suspension over missed drug test as a chance to foreshadow the player's bigger fight with the NFL roughly 4 years from now. Quote, there are bigger issues than pot, end quote. I agree. But also, you shouldn't use it as a player. We'll get into that. In fact, Foster is urging players to save money now in preparation for a lockout with the NFL over a collective bargaining agreement that will expire after the 2020 season. So after 2020, going into that 2021 season, there's a really good chance that the NFL will suffer another lockout. And this time might be even longer. Quote, hit them in the pocket. That way money always talks. For us to do that, we have to save on our end. We can't just be blowing money and not realizing what's coming, especially with the guys that are coming into the league now, end quote. He said he is disenchanted by several issues with the drug policy, including the image hits that the NFL players suffer rather than other sports leagues like the Major League Baseball, especially with the NBA. He says, wait a minute, why are we everywhere when someone fails a drug test, but when in the NBA, kind of, unless it's a major thing, you really don't hear about it. And which it brought something to me because I never truly thought about it that way. I'm so focused on football, on college football, on the NFL. And I talked about a little bit about the NBA, but I never really thought about the difference about how many times you hear in NFL when someone fails a drug test compared to the NBA. When you think about it, NFL outweighs it. He's also, he doesn't like the appeal process that is often handled by a sole arbitrator, resulting in varied rulings. One player suspended for this amount of games and fined this amount of money, and then you look at another player who might have a very similar smoking weed or whatever, caught with weed or some type of drug testing failure, and then they're suspended for X amount of games and fined less amount of money.
Which also, you got to also look at it that they also take a percentage out of what you make depending on your contract. So that changes the money too. And then also Bell's appeal reduced his suspension from 4 to 3 games last week. He wanted it to 2 games, thinking that would have been fair. Who cares? In 2011, the Steelers were the only team, this is very important, they were the only team to vote against the proposed CBA that eventually passed before the season. So during the lockout, when they were coming up with all these things and negotiating, the Steelers said no to it. And they were the only team. Foster said the players around the league must be more prepared after many faced too much financial debt to potentially missing games nearly 6 years ago. Quote, it's coming. They've hired certain people on their legal team, the NFL has, and we have to be the type of players and a union that's not borrowing money from banks and stuff like that to survive a lockout, a strike. That can't happen this time around. We have to be smarter this time around because there are a lot of things we're going to be fighting for and a lot of things they're going to want and we're going to want too, end quote. Smart. Drug testing has affected the Steelers, and this is the weird thing. I don't think he should have used Le'Veon Bell's example just because of the fact after multiple years. Now, the Steelers organization, the Rooney family, is probably the best in the NFL. But they need to be a little bit more strict on their players. Because the Steelers in recent years have been, I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but I know they're one of the teams that are getting hit with a lot of suspensions because of drug testing. Yeah, just this year, Martavis Bryant suspended the entire season because of multiple failed or missed tests. We don't know exactly, but could have been both. That's a problem. That's an issue on management to say, okay, you failed 1, and then nothing really happens after you just fail 1. You have to fail 3, and then you get suspended. Or you fail or miss 3 tests, and then you get suspended. So you got to look at it and say, as a coach, as a manager, general manager, as an organization, say, oh, he's already missed 2. Well, what's going on? We need to talk to him. We need to figure out what's the issue. Why are you doing this? Because you can not only are you going to hurt yourself by being suspended and losing money by being fined, you're making the organization look bad. And for the only team to vote against the CBA, there's a problem here. And in Bell, same thing for him. He gets suspended. And this isn't his first time. This isn't Martavis Bryant's first time missing games, being suspended. So you look at it, if they have to miss 3 tests to earn a 3-game ban, or 4-game, depending on appeal, if this is their, and that's just to get suspended, that means they've missed or failed at least each 6 or more tests because they've been suspended last season and they're suspended this season. That's an issue on management and on them as well, having responsibility to say, look, you continue to fail and miss tests. Why can't you stop? They say marijuana isn't addicting. They say there's nothing wrong with marijuana. Someone's obviously addicted. Someone's obviously hooked on it where they can't stop, and then they complain about being suspended. They complain about being fined. I get it. You want it legalized. You want it, the NFL not to ban you. Okay, fight on that issue. Don't fight it by continuing to do it and then getting suspended and complaining about being suspended and then getting fined for it when that's not fighting. That's not pushing for, hey, we need to have marijuana legalized or we want it not being punished by the NFL. Because you continue to do it, the NFL is just going to continue making money. And why would they want to just say, why do we want to stop suspending these guys and stop fining these guys? People are still going to watch the games. People, yeah, we might get hate for the first week or whatever, but we're going to be fine. That's what I want to know. That's why this marijuana thing is so stupid on the players' side of it for continuing to do it and then complaining about it. That's my issue. Now, Foster continued to say, quote, every situation has been different. Not one person has had the same penalty. It's always how the person is feeling, who's handing down the execution. It needs to be refined. It can't just go through one person, end quote. That's his argument. I think there is an argument. I believe there is a debate about how this should be handled, and maybe there should be changes on the NFL side, but at the same time, players, you got to just go with it. You got to go with what the rule is, and continue to fight it. Just like if there's another situation, you continue to fight it, but not by doing it and being suspended. That's not making a stand. That's not fighting back against the NFL, because in the end, they're just taking your money and keeping it. I don't know. To me, that's losing a battle, not winning or making a point. Let me know in the comment section down below. Follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show. The Indianapolis Colts cornerback Vontae Davis is now week to week with the right medical. Medial. Is that right? Medial? That's the first time seeing that word, and I wrote this down. Medial. Yeah, ankle. It's ankle sprain, people. Okay, that's what it is. So he's got a cast on his right foot, and obviously the Colts, they worked out cornerback Antonio Cromartie, and then eventually signed him a 1-year deal. I don't know if it was 1.3 or $3 million. Anyways, Cromartie's now with the team, and he struggled last season. He struggled in 2015. So we'll have to see about him. The Ravens got some good news. Brashad Perryman, the guy who was their 2015 first rounder, hasn't played a game since then. Has not even played a preseason game at all. It's just nothing. Apparently, he also lost 4 pounds by just cutting his hair off alone. I didn't know hair could weigh 4 pounds. That's ridiculous. He suffered a partial torn ACL 2 months ago in a non-contact drill, but the good news is that he's off the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list, and he's expected to participate in team walkthroughs, or he did actually, this week on Monday, the Monday afternoon. And again, he has yet to play a game, preseason or regular season, since he was selected number 26 in the 2015 NFL Draft. He missed the entire rookie season after spraining his medial collateral ligament. It seems like that's a frequent injury now. And Harbaugh said it's up to the team's medical staff to determine when Perryman is ready to participate in a full-speed practice, and he hasn't ruled out Perryman playing in Saturday's preseason game against the Detroit Lions. So just 2 months ago, he tore his ACL, and now he's potentially ready to go this week. I would not count on it. I would not. If I was them, I would just say, you know what? I'm not even playing him in preseason. Really. Given the guy's injury proneness now, what's the point of putting him in preseason if something doesn't count? Especially if the injury bug hit them so bad, the Ravens, it hit him so bad last season. Why mess with it? Just let him practice, let him do his thing, more rehab, whatever, and in week 1, have him ready. That way he's fully good. But again, I mean, there's no guarantee because he tore his ACL on a non-contact drill. So there's no guarantee that he'll be all the way ready. Also, there was something about Joe Flacco. He says he's going to play later this week in his first game since he suffered his season-ending knee injury 9 months ago. So he's ready to go back out there. He didn't know how long he will play Saturday, but he's saying the team would approach it like a typical third preseason game. So could be out there a little bit longer, or they might just, since it's his first game back, they might play him just a couple series in the first quarter and take him out from there. Let's see. Miami Dolphins Pro Bowl center Mike Pouncey will miss the remainder of the preseason with the left hip injury. There's also concern if he'll be able to start the regular season. Pouncey was injured in the first half of the last Friday's preseason loss against the Dallas Cowboys, however. Pouncey re-entered the game and finished the first half, but he did not practice this week, so we'll have to see on his health and where he's at. Now, I got a question, because I want to know. Who do you believe is going to be the Denver Broncos starting quarterback? We're getting closer and closer, and honestly, we're not finding a solution here because none of the 3 quarterbacks are looking that good. Trevor Siemian, he's going to start this week in the third preseason game against the Los Angeles Rams. And it doesn't mean that Simon's the starter. It's just Mark Sanchez blew his shot. He was actually doing pretty well. He was 10 of 17, 120 yards, but then in a 4-play span just before halftime, he decided to fumble the ball twice. And he was emotional after the game, saying that he had, quote, squandered the opportunity to win the starting job, and he really did. He really did. Now, Kubiak didn't definitely say if Mark Sanchez or rookie Paxton Lynch would follow in Simon, or which one would follow Simon into the lineup against the Rams on Saturday, but he added that he is still considering how long the starters would play in a game. In the past, the Broncos starters played into the third quarter in the third preseason game, but who's your starting quarterback? Are we really ready to say, Trevor Simon, you're the guy who's going to lead this team? And everybody's saying, well, we don't really need a passing game. Peyton Manning didn't play that well, and our defense took us all the way, and we won the Super Bowl. That's true, but at some point, you got to have a passing game. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens had Trent Dilfer. That's our famous example of how you don't need a quarterback to win a Super Bowl, but I don't remember them going back to the Super Bowl the next year. There's no guarantee that just because how great your defense was last season that, hey, you can just rely on that and move from there. Now, the Ravens had a pretty good running game, too. Jamal Lewis, he was nice. He was nice. And Broncos, there's not a Jamal Lewis on the team. So Mark Sanchez, I think, will somehow win it back. Paxton Lynch really hasn't looked that good. And I know the Dallas Cowboys fans, I know y'all are happy. Everybody's like, damn, we missed Paxton Lynch. You know, we should trade it up and got him. And then there's Connor Cook. Dak Prescott. He's on fire right now. And it's those passes. Woo! He's looking clean out there. So Paxton Lynch obviously hasn't looked too good. Now, but it would be significant if Lynch goes in there, if he was the second quarterback in that game against the Rams, if he goes in there right after Simon, because then that looks like, all right, well, Sanchez, you really squandered your opportunity. He also went on to say, quote, going into my 8th year, I know better. I know I got to get the ball out. And I know I can play this game, and I know I'm better than I showed. He went on to say 2 really bad plays that took away from a great performance and potentially winning a job. So that's really too bad, end quote. Yeah, it really is too bad because, ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Now, given the Broncos open the regular season on Thursday night, at least 3 days before the other games, Kubiak wants to name the regular season starter next week. So it really kind of comes down to this Los Angeles Rams game and who plays the best. Trevor Simon, Mark Sanchez, or Paxton Lynch. Let me know in the comment section down below who you believe will be the starting quarterback. Will it be Lynch? Will it be Sanchez? Will it be Simon? I'm going to go ahead and just still say it's going to be Mark Sanchez. I'm not too sold on Trevor Simon. Paxton Lynch is just not looking like a guy that can be out there week to week and lead this team. And Sanchez, the veteran, he made 2 mistakes, played pretty solid. He's a veteran. I think they give it up to him, and then it's after that, if he really screws up, then there's a problem for the Broncos. Let me know in the comment section down below. Apparently, multiple teams have reached out to the Cleveland Browns to inquire about a receiver that hasn't played in a few years. And that's Josh Gordon. However, a Browns team source said that the team is not looking to trade Gordon. And Gordon said Tuesday that he doesn't want to be traded. Quote, I haven't heard too much about it. Cleveland is my team. That's where I want to be. Everything like that. That's not even the ballpark for me. I'm not sure how that works, end quote. Now, Gordon took part in a 3 series with the Browns starters in Sunday's practice. And again, remember, he is suspended for the first 4 games of the regular season, but the NFL is allowing him to participate in team activities during the ban. The last bit of news, we'll wrap up the show with this, and that's new Washington Redskins cornerback Josh Norman. Now, he knows that he's no longer the underdog. Right? He's not that guy you're kind of rooting for. He's playing pretty well. And, hey, who is this guy? You know, everybody knows he's kind of a big deal now. Now, and especially after signing a 5-year, $15 million a year deal. But he's been knocked by a few players. And most recently, Demaryius Thomas, which we'll get into that just here in a second. Obviously, Odell Beckham Jr., that fight and how everything went with that. Cardinals cornerback Patrick Peterson, and he's been pretty popular on World that hip start really cut. I'm not even gonna cut that. I'm gonna leave that up right up there. The world star hip hop thing. You know, you see it on video on Twitter of him getting burnt by Deshaun Jackson, by a few other, Pierre Garçon, which you're seeing right now on your screen right now. He's been getting beat. He's been getting beat. And you know, he's fine with it. He's fine with it. He said, quote, "I can take it. I'm a big boy. I've got some big shoes. If I can have that unique set of skills to fend off everything people say, I can take it. I can take it and continue to be successful." When you get a deal like that, everything comes with it. Everything is magnified times 10. You just have to be careful of that, end quote. Now, again, some of this stems from that contract. Again, he is now the NFL's highest paid cornerback. But it's also some of his words. Now, in ESPN, the magazine article, for example, Norman took a jab at a player he went against and lost to in the Super Bowl. That was Denver Broncos wide receiver Demaryius Thomas, who he only caught one pass for 8 yards, and Norman said, you know, I shut him down. Quote, I don't know what he was out there for. He was supposed to be an all-world guy, and I shut him down, end quote. Now, Odell Beckham Jr. told GQ magazine that Norman was relevant only because of him. And then Peterson tweeted out a video of Norman getting beat in practice. And then Demaryius Thomas, he decided to respond with a pretty good one. This is what he did. This is what he tweeted. This picture right here. And that says it all. I don't really have to say anything about it. And for people that are listening just on the show on iTunes and iHeartRadio, Demaryius Thomas tweeted a picture of his Super Bowl ring, and then it captions it. I don't think it was word for word, but he says, "Where's yours at, young fella?" And he didn't just, you know, some players will, when there's kind of like some beef going on, sometimes they won't even tag the other person they're really talking to. There's kind of, you know, just act like they are, but they don't say it. They don't put it on there. No, he tagged Josh Norman. He says, "Where's your at, young fella?" ? At Josh or J Norman or Josh Norman 24. No, he did it. He went after it. And, you know, of course, Josh Norman says nothing. So, Josh Norman, I still like him, but he might have to relax a little bit. You got your deal, so be happy. Be happy you got your deal. Work on just getting better, and just focus on that. Stop trying to make headlines. Don't attack a guy who you lost to in the Super Bowl, especially if you don't have any Super Bowl rings. Don't say anything, because that's always going to be his punchback, and you will always lose because you don't have a Super Bowl ring, and especially you lost to him. I don't care. You could have shut him down. He could have not even caught a ball. You could have got an interception in the game. But you didn't win the Super Bowl. So shut up. Don't say anything. And then, of course, Odell Beckham, and then he went out, Josh Norman did recently, he said that there's a, quote, hit on Odell Beckham, that Odell should watch out. Obviously, the Redskins and the Giants, they play each other twice in a season because they're in the NFC East. So this should be pretty exciting, how everything works out. And just think about it. A year ago, or was it a year ago or 2 years ago, at this time around, Josh Norman was the guy who was getting beat up by Cam Newton in practice. And now he's Washington's guy. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, whether you listen to on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spreaker.com, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, wherever it might be. Thank you guys so much for the support. Again, 3-year anniversary last week of the Short Sports Show, and my birthday today. This is a great gift. You guys are giving me the greatest gift. I get to talk to people about sports. I get to talk about sports for almost not really a living yet. Not yet. We're going to make it happen, though. You guys are going to help me make it happen. I appreciate everything you guys have done. Thank you guys so much. As always, God first, God bless, and I will see you guys next Wednesday. Go Rattlers. Game week. I'm ready. And I will see you guys next week. I'm out. Peace.